We will now request Trupti Matre Madam, General Manager, Exim Bank, to provide a presentation on the financial solutions of Exim Bank. Trupti Madam is a qualified chartered accountant with a bachelor's degree in commerce. She has joined Exim in 2003 and she has gained extensive experience working over various departments and handling various portfolio. Currently, she is in loans and monitoring department of the bank, and she has of course handled domestic as well as international resource raising for the bank. She has also been involved in ECG framework and driving issuance of first sustainability bond in January 2023. She has successfully managed various portfolios and will request Madam to please give a presentation on various financial solutions that Exim Bank provides to exporters, in particular to chemical exporters. This will be of course based of best interest to you because Exim as a ECA of government has been in the forerunner of providing solutions to all the industries for making their exports, giving them wings so that they can fly abroad and fly high. I will request Trupti ma'am to please come. Madam.
Thank you, Rahul. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's so nice that, there is a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of queries. And actually, we are also looking forward to engage with the participants, in terms of our offerings and, the various new initiatives that Exim Bank has launched in the recent, past. And also, we are very, very active under the export promotion mission initiatives of the government, and we're very closely working with the DGFT and also implementing 3 very important schemes under the export promotion mission. So as you all are aware now, the Exim Bank, we are set up by the Parliament, Act of the Parliament, and we are 100% owned by the Government of India. The parent ministry, Department of Financial Services, and our board is represented by all the ministries, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Finance, as also Reserve Bank of India, ECGC, and the State Bank of India, and few other commercial banks. We closely coordinate with all our, the board members as also the ministries in terms of giving the policy inputs and policy formulation. We have the range of products across all stages of export business cycle. And as also, from the pre-shipment, post-shipment credit to the, overseas investment abroad, advisory services, import finance, export product development. And we also offer the value-based services to exporter in terms of, providing the market access, knowledge building, and capacity creation. So it's not only the financing solutions, but we, other than the financing, we offer a lot of other value-added services for facilitating the export of goods and services from India. To start with, if we look at our balance sheet, broadly on the asset side, we are represented by the policy business, which is very, very long-term assets denominated majorly in the foreign currency. These are all extended at the behest and with the support of the Government of India, and we call it lines of credit business. These are the very long-term, like 25 to 30. Sorry, I think I did not move to the next slide. So this is the slide I'm on. 25 to 30 years long, the credits which are given to the foreign sovereigns, which are all financed, by Exim Bank of India. This is very important program of the bank, the very flagship program, because it facilitates the project exports from India. All Indian EPC contractors, engineering goods suppliers, and the the Indian exporters are very active and benefiting under these lines. And not only they provide this program, it provides them the market entry mechanism and also builds their eligibility and qualification for the projects which are floated and funded by various other multilateral agencies like World Bank. So, this is very important. Other than the lines of credit where we extend, this support to the overseas governments, we also support project export, Indian exporters supported by way of the cash flow deficit financing. We very, very actively support the exporters by way of non-fund based facilities like guarantees, the performance guarantees, advance payment guarantees, bid bond guarantees. We also extend support for the project exports in terms of opening the LCs under the non-fund based working capital facilities for maybe importing of the goods or the machineries which will be useful for the, the project exports. We also extend the buyer's credit, facility, very regularly, which will help the buyers overseas to procure the goods and services from India. So all kind of fund-based and non-funded facilities are, available under our project export financing. These are a few examples of the project exports, which is like, the one project in Cambodia where we have supported under our facilities and which has benefited at 10,000 and plus families for access of irrigation facilities. So all these project exports, those are supported by India Exim under lines of credit and various other financing, to the Indian exporters directly, which on their balance sheet help create a lot of socio-economic benefit in the countries where these projects are executed and help them build the infrastructure in these countries. Mr. Tarun Sharma, our Deputy Managing Director, in the morning mentioned that, the research and development is very important factor, and especially in the chemicals and the pharma industry. So, however, the expenditure in India is very minimal as compared to the other developed, countries. And here is this program, where we facilitate and support, encourage Indian companies to invest more and more in research and development. Both capital as well as the revenue expenditure is covered and financed under this program. And we, across all the programs, we, Exim Bank, can extend the financing in rupee as well as foreign currency, majorly US dollar, but we also can extend in euro, GBP, and any other fully convertible currency. JPY is also one of the active currency in which we lend. Repayments and tenors are suitably structured with appropriate moratorium. As I said, the revenue expenditure can be financed under this program, and this is the unique proposition under this, R&D financing. We have extended very recently, the loan to one company, SML Mahindra. The term loan has been extended for their R&D expenses for product and process improvement. One Bangalore-based company was also supported for their design and development of unmanned aerial vehicles, critical subsystems under the R&D finance program. After the successful research and development, definitely what the exporters need is obviously, the technology. Many times it is imported or indigenously procured. So under our production equipment finance and import finance program, what we do is we support by way of the term lending for procurement of the equipments for projects under the under this program or under the import finance program. The purpose of financing majorly includes, the debottlenecking or import of plant and machinery. Again, the loan can be extended in any currency of your choice, and repayments and the tenors are adjusted as per your requirements. Pharma company, we have recently, supported one pharma company for Hyderabad for their capacity expansion and debottlenecking of their manufacturing unit under this production equipment finance program. This is again a very, the flagship program of Exim Bank, where we extend term loans to export-oriented units. And this is like, typically this is a balance sheet funding for the general corporate purpose of the Indian exporters. So financing is extended not only to the companies in the manufacturing sector, but also in the services sector having foreign exchange earnings, which they also qualify under our definition, of the export-oriented units. And, you all are encouraged to avail, our financing under this program. Again, the purpose of financing includes the expansion, modernization, upgradation, or diversification programs of existing export-oriented units, and also obviously, setting up of a new export-oriented unit. We can also extend the loan in any currency, and the repayments are tenors typically ranges from short term to mid-term. We have supported Jindal Stainless, some photographs here. First one is Jindal Stainless, New Delhi's, plant, where we supported their ongoing capex requirement under this program. Second one is Agratas, where we supported the battery manufacturing company, and this is the company where we supported their expansion. In addition to the term lending under our EOU program, we very actively extend the working capital facilities in the form of obviously the fund-based as also the non-fund-based facilities. Typically, the tenor within the maximum permissible bank finance with a maturity up to 1 to 2 years, and which can be obviously further renewed at the discretion of the bank. Pre-composed shipment is again, is a actively used product of the bank, and we would encourage all the participants to avail these facilities. Non-faced facilities, mainly which includes the letters of credit, which is needed for you to import any of your plant and machinery or raw material or the technology. Both foreign and inland can be extended by the bank. Also the bank guarantees, and we have a widest network of SWIFT, which is like the network, the bank to bank alliance, where we can communicate electronically over SWIFT, the messages, the guarantees, and many other banks also use this network for guarantees. And most of the overseas destinations, our guarantees are directly accepted, so you do not need anybody there overseas to front your guarantees. So, and so you please make use of Exim Bank's widest network of SWIFT alliances and the overseas banking network. Overseas investment finance, this is again a flagship program of the bank, and Mishra ji, additional DGFT in the morning was mentioning that with the lot of FTAs coming in and the new tariff structures, certain overseas destinations could be useful, and you may think of setting up your facilities in, say, Vietnam. He was giving an example there. So when for this particular, the financing is available under our overseas investment finance for all your overseas investments. So basically for setting up of a manufacturing units or for acquiring overseas company to get access to the foreign market, the technology or the raw materials, because that way you can be still make your product competitive, cost effective, and get more market access. So we extend the facilities in terms of a term loan to Indian companies for them to infuse equity or debt into the overseas subsidiary or overseas acquisition. We can also extend the support directly to your overseas subsidiary by way of working capital or term lending for their any kind of their purpose, further equity investment or acquisition of brand or patents, IRPs, etc., or for the acquiring of any other company. Typically, many times the overseas subsidiaries may face challenge in getting the funding from the local banks. So to facilitate that, we can also extend SBLC, and on the strength of the SBLC, your overseas subsidiary can avail the financing also from the local banks in those countries. So overseas investment finance is very important in today's, the scenario where overseas investments are necessary for the business expansion, also the business, having the more access to the various new geographies, and market access. Sustainable finance, again, the need of today's, the financing, everybody, we all of are moving to the sustainable, the processes and the financing. So we have the green finance, the transition finance. We can finance your transition to the sustainable, practices and processes. So in terms of term lending, in terms of, the funded, non-funded facilities, everything can be financed, the social finance and the sustainability linked finance, where when you achieve a particular milestone, you can get a benefit in terms of, the interest rate and, which is sustainability linked. So there are the milestones defined. Once you achieve, there could be some benefit in terms of cost, which can get passed on under our sustainable finance program. And lot of, the solar projects and a lot of technology advancement, which will take your companies to the sustainability and the, path has been financed by Exim Bank under this program. Next one is Ubharte Sitare program. This is again Exim Bank's new initiative, where we identify and nurture the firms with differentiated product, technology or process. When we mean differentiated, obviously this is something new, something innovative, and which will make a difference, and again have the export potential. So under our Ubharte Sitare program, we provide the support by way of a debt, by way of equity, and we also provide the technical assistance to all these companies which are, maybe at a startup stage or little ahead of the startup stage. And we also collaborate in this with the industry, the academia, including various incubation centers in the country. And we provide them, handhold them, provide technical assistance to make them enhance their production capabilities or a market access, as also, export, encourage them to export their products very actively. Under this program, till 2026, we have extended financial support to 106 entities, all 106 Ubharte Sitare, we can call it, across a wide array of sectors, including 10 equity investments. So we have done the investments in the equity of these companies. We also have a Ubharte Sitare fund, which has supported 12 innovative export-oriented companies. And we also provide the technical assistance to, the companies who are such as IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Ahmedabad. So we associate with them and closely coordinate, all these activities. 18 companies with innovative solutions for promoting sustainability have been supported. 20 companies with cutting-edge technology have been supported. 16 companies with the revolutionizing healthcare facilities have been supported. So this is very interesting portfolio, and we get to know actually, a lot of new exciting things, and where the technology advancement is taking place in the country. And so many very young, energetic entrepreneurs which come and meet us and make the presentation, to us, and we support them, and we are very happy to, support them. So these are certain, again, the select success stories where we have supported deep tech company designing, engaging into the design and which produces the concrete 3D printing solutions for construction and infrastructure development using eco-friendly materials. We also have supported medtech tech company engaged into surgical navigation systems for brain and spine surgeries. So this was again, very, very innovative solutions that this company had. As I was explaining, we have the solutions for you at every stage, right from research and development, right, for the production equipment. So at the pre-shipment stage, everything is covered in terms of term lending, which ranges from short-term, medium-term to long-term, the project financing, the non-fund based facilities in terms of guarantees, LCs. And we are very actively supporting the MSMEs also. So we have the MSME cell, recently set up in the bank, who is focusing more on supporting MSMEs as well. As I mentioned, Ubarte Sitare program. Mr. Sharma was also mentioning the gift city. So while the pre-shipment stage, all of these facilities are available. At the post-shipment stage, where you are worried of receiving your payments on time, most of the time when you are supplying your products and services to the challenging markets, the markets which are perceived to be of a higher risk, our trade assistance program will be of use to you. So I will explain the trade assistance program little in detail. In 2022, we started with this program, especially when, the post-COVID, when the trade gaps had widened, and basically the trade finance was kind of, was a constraint because of various other challenges, and because the geopolitical uncertainties, also the risk perceptions were little elevated. Keeping in mind, and after the industry discussions with the ministries, the banking industry, and obviously, the various industry association chambers with whom we closely connect, we launched in 2022 the trade assistance program of the bank. And the program contributes with the aim to contribute the reduction in the trade finance gap by covering payment risk and country risk. So as we mentioned, this is something that is available for encourage you to start exporting to the new markets, untapped markets, challenging markets, or the markets which are perceived to be little risky than the usual markets of Europe and US. We take in under this program, the 100% support is provided. So for example, the LC value, the transaction value, entire 100% of your transaction value will be covered, and you will get a confirmation that yes, on the due date, you will receive the payment. If not, from the LC issuing bank, Exim Bank will make payment to you, on the due date, and your working capital is not suffered because you are exporting to a country which is little risky. So you are completely covered. The Exim Bank also facilitates. So for example, if you are not, we would definitely encourage you to, get onboarded with us and, have the banking arrangement with Exim Bank. However, if you are not banking with us, we also partner with all the banks, scheduled commercial banks in India, and we provide them the risks, credit enhancement in terms of risk participation or SBLC. So this is mainly these are the offerings under our product, under our trade assistance program. As I said, the Exim Bank can extend the LC confirmation. So for example, your LC is coming from, say, some country like Ghana in Africa, the bank which is absolutely not known to you. So obviously, in these countries, the knowing buyer is difficult. So buyer may say, okay, if you don't know me and if you don't trust that, I will be making the payment to you on the due date, here is the LC that's coming from my bank. At least you can trust my bank. But no, we definitely cannot trust, many of the exporters, still feel, because they are not aware of the banking system in the country like Ghana. So then they go to the banks for adding the confirmation. And the confirmation takes away the risk of payment and the credit risk, or a non-payment risk by the LC issuing bank. But most of the time what happens is the limits are not available when it comes to the risky countries. So we, Exim Bank, can add the LC confirmation to any such LC where your bank probably may, face some constraint in terms of availability of limit, or maybe the country risk is not acceptable. So any case, under trade assistance program, you can seek assistance. In case you want the working capital support and the discounting of the LCs, we can do that. We can discount the LCs. We also finance the UPAS LCs. So in many countries, like your neighboring country, Bangladesh, this UPAS LC financing is a very common mechanism. UPAS stands for Usans Payable at Site. So typically your buyers may need some usance period, but you may say, ki, no, I need my money immediately once I ship my goods. So here is the UPAS LC, which provides some usance period to your buyer, but you get the payments immediately once you ship the goods. And Exim Bank can finance these LCs, so you will get the payment from Exim Bank immediately once you ship and submit the shipping documents to Exim Bank, and we will get the payment at the end of say 30, 60, 90, whatever is the usance period from the LC issuing bank and the buyer. So that is the LC mechanism, very widely used, Bangladesh, I think we have used maximum UPAS LC financing in Bangladesh, also a few African countries and also the Southeast Asian countries. So that's one mechanism. As I said, we also partner with the LC confirming bank in India, like all our scheduled commercial bank. We have all framework agreements with them. So we do the risk participation with them. If your bank is falling short of some limit on the LC issuing bank, they can please guide them. I mean, please them, here is the trade assistance program of Exim Bank. So please approach Exim Bank and seek the, risk participation to the extent of 90%. Or we can also give them a SBLC, which will cover 100% risk of the underlying transaction. As I mentioned, we have a wide network of, the banks across the globe. So we use this network for fronting of the guarantees very actively. We also extend the credit lines. So this credit lines is actually a loan which is extended to the overseas bank or a financial institution or a regional development bank. So we very closely connect and coordinate with the Exim Bank, the Africa Finance Corporation, say Development Bank of South Africa, DBSA Group in Africa, or many banking groups which have a Pan-Africa presence like Axis, Zenith, and so many, we also closely coordinate with the Eurasian Bank and so many regional development banks. And we extend loans to them, and these tenors again extend, as on the basis of your requirements. So 3 years, 5 years, even a 1 year facility can be extended. So we have extended a lot of credit lines very recently to few banks in Turkey, few banks in, Uzbekistan. So recently we extended a credit line to Asaka Bank in Uzbekistan. This is a 1 year loan extended by us. Then Asaka Bank is on lending this, money to the buyers of Indian products, Indian goods and services. And very actively we are doing with few banks in Turkey, Uzbekistan, as also, few banks in Egypt. So this product is very, very useful. When it comes to the project exports, the tenors under the credit lines can be up to 5 years or 7 years, suitable to cover your project exports. So we can extend, say, a credit line to Exim Bank. Exim Bank can extend the credit to your project authority in the African region, and the buyer can get the lending and he can buy your products. So this is again very, very active program of the bank. Every day, we are extending this credit lines. Again, trade loan structure, the very recent, inclusion under a trade assistance program, where we can give the trade loan, say, the Bangladeshi banks are availing this, product very regularly from us, and we are active with almost 13, 14 banks in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, who are, availing the trade loan facilities from Exim Bank. As I mentioned, this is the first time that, the widest coverage under the trade finance has been made available under the trade assistance program. Almost 31 countries. I was just chatting with few officials from Exim, in the morning, and I understood that Africa could be, because the diversification is a must. Obviously, the statistics suggest that US is the, the highest destination of our exports, followed by maybe Europe. But Africa could be a next destination for your diversification of the export market. And the facility can be useful. Not only Africa, but in Europe as well, because that is again with the reference to Mr. Mishra's, he was mentioning about a lot of opportunities that is now available under the new FTA with these, so we have also supported supported a lot of countries in the European region like Switzerland, Romania, Spain, Italy, Germany, Croatia, France. So not only the emerging the challenging or the risky countries are making use of this facility, of Exim Bank, but also the developed countries of Europe are also, are supported under this. Again, the CIS or a Central Asian region, which is again, a lot of discussions are happening between the GFT and, a lot of agreements are being, drafted, and the exporters are encouraged to export the goods and services to these countries, which are all covered, like Georgia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan are the most, even Kazakhstan are the, the countries where we are getting requests for the support. We mentioned that Exim Bank has the 100% owned subsidiary. We call it India Exim FinServe IFSC. This is our own subsidiary which is engaging into the factoring, export factoring and export receivable financing. So this is the product, where obviously the trade assistance program is useful where the payment is covered under the letter of credit, because there we are providing LC confirmation, LC discounting. But many developed markets like, the Europe, US and all, they do not open the LCs. The typical payment terms are open payment terms. So most of the exporters, insist on the advance payment. But that elongates your delivery, schedule, because you will wait for the advance, then you will start manufacturing, then you will, ship the goods. But under the export factoring, what you can do is, you can extend some kind of deferred payment or some kind of a usance period to your importers. So under the factoring services at Exim FinServe, we provide non-recourse and limited recourse export factoring for open account trade exports, helping MSMEs with easy access to trade finance. So with the focus of MSMEs, but obviously non-MSMEs are all covered under the program. And it also helps in providing credit cover to the export receivables coupled with collection and management of assigned export receivables. So why we are saying, the export receivable management is because under the export factoring, once you shipped your goods and once you have those invoices, all the export invoices are assigned to Exim Bank, or sorry, the Exim FinServe. So with that assignment, basically we are purchasing those export invoices, and therefore the collection management or the receivables management is also done by us at Exim FinServe, and you are relieved. You basically get the, up to 90% or whatever is the percentage of factoring agreed between us and yourself. Basically you will get the payment upfront. 10% whichever is not discounted, obviously you will get at the time we get the payment from your buyer. So, so far we have, done, I mean, at least in a 1 year's time, because this is a very recent initiative. I think, Rahul, 1 year? Yeah, so 1 year we have done almost, 20,000 or more than 2350 number of transactions. So this is very good response, and this is a need of a time. I think the export factoring is something which is being promoted also under the export promotion mission, and factoring also is now receiving the interest subvention to the extent of 2.75%. So if you avail the export factoring services from India Exim FinServe, you will also get the subvention of 2.75% now. This is also only for the MSMEs, but yes, this is very important factor. And this interest subvention facility and the support will be passed on to the exporters right upfront. Right, and then we will be, the banks and the export factors will, seek the reimbursement from the DGFT. So very important. 26 Indian exporters so far, have been supported based out of 16 cities and 9 states, and we welcome all of you to, start availing these services. Typically exports to North America, Europe, Middle East, Australia, Latin America and Asia Pacific has been supported so far. But there are a lot of, countries which, I mean, this is not limited, obviously, anywhere you can make use of this facility. Again, we have the market coverage, as I mentioned, Japan, Australia, Mexico, Brazil, Chile, and very recently we have also signed our agreements with South Africa. So these are the countries, obviously not exhaustive, we can include the new ones, but this is as of now. Advance amount, as I said, 80 to 90% of your invoice value will be factored. You will receive the immediate payment. The payment duration typically ranges up to 150 days from the date of your invoice or a bill of lading. And we can renew the facilities every 12 months. So a few industries which are not supported also has been mentioned. So kind of gems and jewelry or perishable items obviously is not eligible for the financing under the export factoring. Also glass and ceramic is not eligible. But one of the success story, I was recently chatting with my colleague Hirva Mamtura. She is our general manager and MD and CEO of Exim FinServ. So she was mentioning one of the success story, where a company always insisted on advance payment. But with the export factoring, now he is able to extend 30 days, 60 days and 90 days usance period to the buyer, because they were losing the business because they were not able to provide the usance period to the buyer. So they are now getting it discounted, under the export from the Exim FinServ, and their payment cycle has improved, their working capital cycle has improved, and thereby obviously, there is a multiplier effect. They are able to multiply their revenues by 3 times is what we understand. So please avail these services. As I mentioned, under the export promotion mission, Exim Bank is the implementing agency for 3 initiatives. We have been engaging very closely with DGFT, on this in formulating this, programs. The problem statement that was identified again was the e-commerce exports, which typically is deprived of the export credit. Because the export credit, as per the definition of the Reserve Bank of India, it requires the confirmed purchase order. However, in the e-commerce, there is no confirmed purchase orders, because most of them, you are producing in anticipation of the, order. You are required to store it. The working capital cycle is elongated because you will manufacture in anticipation, then you will market it, advertise it, then you will be able to sell it, and then realize maybe, and when it comes to the export, because domestically many of our, companies are very successful in domestic e-commerce, but when it comes to the e-commerce export, typically the shipment period also adds to the working capital cycle. Then the marketing is also required. Some warehousing is also required in the overseas market. So all of those were the problem statements which were discussed, and we have formulated this particular credit assistance for Niryat e-commerce facility, financing facility under the export promotion mission. So as I mentioned, this is a unique facility. For the first time, something dedicatedly, is being made available to the e-commerce exporters. Innovative mechanism to improve access to short-term working capital finance to e-commerce. And this short-term working capital finance can be extended by the scheduled commercial bank, your own bank, in the form of a cash credit or a overdraft facility, right? And there you obviously can have, the flexible repayment terms. Up to 1 year is the maximum tenor, but you may, as per depending on your working capital cycle, may choose 30, 60, 90 days tenor, for your, cash credit facility. Exim Bank along with NCGTC are the implementing agencies, and we will provide the credit guarantee to the commercial bank from whom you are availing the overdraft facility and the cash credit facility under this program. So again, here up to 90% of the cash credit facilities that you will avail, the guarantee will be made available from Exim Bank. 2-3 mechanisms have been covered, but because as Mr. Mishra was mentioning, and also that overseas warehouses are also covered under this program. If you see in mechanism 2, working capital financing for e-commerce exporters storing their inventory in overseas warehouses, right? So under export promotion, export Disha, lot of infrastructures is being developed. Domestically, some warehouses are being designated ECEH, we call it, e-commerce export hubs, as also overseas warehouses are also being built. So I think by September they should be announcing, all the warehouses being designated. So all the exporters who are storing the goods in this designated domestic or overseas warehouses will be eligible for availing the facility under this mechanism. Also, till the time these warehouses are done, even if you are not storing the goods in the warehouses, but you are manufacturing, keeping it in your own facility and the warehouses, and you are exporting through a postal or a courier route, Niryat Dak Kendra, those, all of those are also available under the facility. Can avail the facility and support up to 90%. Again, eligibility, this is all available, for the MSME exporters. At least 6 months of experience exporting via postal or a courier route is one of the eligibility criteria. The people, the exporters who are keeping their goods in the domestic or the overseas designated warehouses are also eligible under this. And there are certain other, KYC and eligibility criterias. Broadly, the scheme is like this. The credit guarantee will be made available to, to the banks or financial institutions who extend you the working capital facility. So Exim Bank will not be extending directly any kind of a facility to you. Your bank, you will have to go to your bank, generate the UIN, which is the unique identification number, then apply for a working capital facility, in terms of OD or cash credit or any kind of a working capital facility that your bank is providing to you. Once that is sanctioned, your bank will approach Exim Bank, and we have onboarded all the scheduled commercial banks. The framework agreements have been signed, so all are now ready to, start using this facility. So you please, please approach your branch, and branch generate the UIN, and then the branch should approach, Exim Bank for availing the guarantee facility, and we will do it. Again, as I mentioned, interest subvention of 2.75% is available under the scheme, and that will be provided upfront to all the exporters. The maximum ceiling under the direct, for example, if you are storing your goods in the domestic warehouse, or if you are exporting through postal or a courier route, the maximum cap is 50 lakhs of rupees, and the guarantee cover up to 90% will be made available. Maximum tenure is 365 days, and guarantee fee is 0.5% per annum. If you are storing the goods in the overseas markets, warehouses, then obviously, the volumes are little higher. So the credit limit up to 5 crores is available. 75% is the guarantee cover that will be made available to your bank who is providing these services. Maximum period is 365 days, and guarantee is 1%. Now, under this overseas inventory e-commerce mechanism, we haven't yet rolled out to all the banks, but Exim Bank itself will be providing this facility in a pilot stage, say for next 1 year, or till the time the operational mechanism is established, and we, issue the guidelines. So whoever is interested can approach directly Exim Bank. We will be providing the, working capital facility support, and we will seek the support under, this guidance under the corpus that has been made available. So that was regarding e-commerce. Again, the next challenge, as I was mentioning, is the emerging opportunities. So under our trade assistance program, as I mentioned, we are encouraging you to diversify your exports to the 72 countries, challenging untapped countries. With the success of our trade assistance program, the ministry has included, this program has also been included under the export promotion mission, and under this the MSME exporters, when it is, when the MSME exporter is supported for their exports to the identified emerging economies, we call it as an emerging export opportunity scheme, but it is basically a trade assistance program for MSMEs, right? So we would encourage again all MSME exporters and everybody to take financing under the trade assistance program and diversify to the newer geographies. As I said, not only the financing, but at Exim Bank we have so many other value-added services in terms of, providing support to district as export hub initiatives. So under our grassroots initiatives, initiative development, we on a regular basis provide the support for the capacity building, then support for the product and process certification. Again, here under export promotion mission, lot of reimbursement is available, for this certification and development, the process development. We also provide the support for the development of common facilities under our grassroots initiative. Training and workshops are also encouraged and support. We also have very active research and analysis wing where we assess the state level export performance and potential, identify sectoral strength and opportunities, and also provide the policy inputs to the government. Market advisory services help you find the market for your goods and services. So this is the, all value-added services, apart from the financing solutions that those are offered at Exim Bank. With this, I would pause and, we can take few questions. I think it's lunch time, so I'm standing between you and lunch. But yes, in case there are any questions, maybe we can take it now. And we also have our corporate head, general manager Amrish, so I would request Amrish also to come in front to address and the queries. Yeah.
So under trade assistance program, you have already all LCs covered. What's the mechanism for open credit? If you already covered, if you may elaborate further. If there are open invoices which are not covered under LC, how do we get benefited for the same through trade assistance program?
So under trade assistance program, it is necessary that it is a trade instrument. So a trade instrument is a LC. So you are saying these are the invoices not covered under the LC?
If it's open credit like
so the open credit is supported under our factoring. Under factoring.
So whenever there is a trade instrument, it will come under trade assistance program. Other than this, if you have an open credit, it means you have already taken the, you have already done the export and everything. Then we'll do factor. Factor in case we'll do discount that the bill and give it to you. And on the due date, we'll get it recovered.
And this is applicable for non-MSMEs as well, right?
Yes, everyone.
Yes. All Exim Bank facilities which I explained are available for MSMEs and non-MSMEs, equally. I mean, only the... only the export promotion mission, this e-commerce facility under export promotion mission, it is only dedicatedly, is used for the MSMEs. So only e-commerce. In the entire presentation, e-commerce is the only thing which is only available only for MSMEs. But all other products are available for all the Indian exporters. And not only goods, but also for services.
Under countries of coverage, Myanmar is not yet there. So anytime soon we are adding?
No, actually, wherever it's a sanctioned country, it is not covered. So Myanmar currently it is under sanctioned countries, so it is not covered.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, on the left. Maybe we can take one or two more.
Good afternoon all. Myself, I am representing Meso Private Limited. We are the manufacturer and exporter of cosmetic products. And presently we are covering almost 45 countries. And we are also expanding our business to Latin American.
Okay.
Where we are finding difficulties to find the distributors and product registrations. So how Exim Bank can help us in finding distributors? And I'm working with State Bank of India overseas branch.
Okay. So, see, we also have a market advisory services, as I mentioned, So, if you provide some details and a catalog of your products, we also have recently started our office in Sao Paulo to take care of, the Latin American region. So, we will share your catalog, with them. And if you have some distributors on mind, then maybe you can provide the details. We can, approach them and try to facilitate. That is what comes immediately to my mind, but once we go through the details that you share, we can, think further.
office in Nariman Point?
We have in office in Sao Paulo.
No, in Bombay.
Actually, yeah, we have office in Nariman Point. Nariman Point, Rahul
Yeah, yeah.
is heading that office. He will connect with you, the Sao Paulo office.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry, I missed it. Yeah. So Rahul is our representative in Mumbai, and you can all contact Rahul for any kind of assistance that you need.
Other than Sao Paulo, we have in African region, we have 3 offices. So whenever you, and along with this, we have in Singapore, we have in Bangladesh, we have in the Washington also, along with Dubai. So whenever you need some support or say getting a say appointment with the government official and you need some linkages, you can call us. We'll try to make the appointment or the meetings.
We will facilitate in whichever way that's suited, as to your requirement. Okay, thank you.